segment that I'm really excited about, guys. I really am. I just think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to really make us, I don't know, maybe do what I named this segment, which is explain yourself.
Explain yourself.
And you know what? Growing up as a kid, I used to get that from my parents all the time when I screwed up.
Yep. Why did you shave the cat? Why did you shave the cat? Explain yourself.
Well, I never owned a cat, but we never had cats growing up. But I get your point, though. Like, I did some really dumb things as a kid and got in trouble and did some stupid things. And I heard that a lot. Explain yourself. Explain what you were thinking. What were you doing? That's the point of this segment, is explain yourself. So we are going to start with one of my tweets that I sent. Both of my tweets I'm going to do tonight are pretty recent. So let's start with one that I alluded to earlier, which is about my boy Colton Sissons. And I got a lot of pushback on this, actually, because people thought I was
who doesn't like
cursing. Colton? Well, no, people thought I was cursing this player and that they were going to come after me if something happened after I tweeted this out.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to put it on the screen here, and I will read it to everybody. This is explain yourself. We have to explain some of our takes here for the Predators. So here's my take. Only one – it's not really a take. It's more of a fact, but still I'm going to explain myself. Only one player on this year's Preds has played in every game up to this point, and that is Colton Sissons. In a season clouded by catastrophic injury fortune, Sissons has clocked in for duty every game, laying it all out there. Put some respect on his name. Hashtag Smashville. All right, that was my tweet. I have to explain myself. First, Kyle, I know you couldn't wait to react to this one, so tell me what you got to say.
If he doesn't get to keep the A on his sweater next year, we have a freaking riot.
Yep.
I mean,
I agreed.
That this man he's the youngest captain ever of the Milwaukee Admirals. Ever.
That's a cool little nugget. I like that.
Yeah. And him and Ryan McDonough have really just stood up and said, all right, boys, this is what we got, and follow us. But you can't. Colton Sissons is – I know they like to do the whole Cole Smith is an 82-game guy. Colton Sissons, whenever the game is on the line and you have to win a face-off, who is sent out? Colton Sissons.
Yep.
Whenever –
yeah.
It's just – okay, I'll stop my soapbox.
No, I love it.
No, you're right.
I'm all for it. I was actually about to piggyback on what you were saying. How many, and I know you guys both know this, how many defensive zone faceoffs has he won on a penalty kill? Why has the Preds penalty kill been pretty decent and pretty good up in this game? It kind of had some flaws a little bit, but we're not going to hold that against them going against Dallas and what they're up against. But in a lot of games lately, this Preds penalty kill has been holding it together and been kind of the strong suit of the team. And it's really by grinding out plays and getting in passing lanes, doing these things. And you got your Colton Sissons, who is winning those big faceoffs, clearing the puck, holding it together. That was kind of my whole thought behind all this. So the only reason I even came across – I didn't realize he had played in every game this year. The whole reason I came across that was I was writing an article for Predlines, and I was listing my 5 players that I think have been most impactful at keeping the Predators afloat through all the injuries into the playoff hunt. So, like, after you lost Forsberg, Johansson, Parssinen, like Carrier, Yossi, I said, I got to think of 5 players who haven't missed a lot of games who have been instrumental in keeping the Predators afloat. And so Colton Sissons was one of those players that I obviously put on my list. And so I'm looking over the Preds stat line, and I'm looking over their entire roster. You know, they've used almost 40 players this year, and including goaltenders and everything. And I noticed he's the only player on the Predators, knock on wood, that has played in every game this season. So I was just blown away by that. So that was my tweet. That's how it came across. So now let's go to Kyle, and then we'll come back to my last one. But Kyle, tell us what yours is. I'm going to go find it too.
Oh, I sent them in the group chat, so if you want to put them up there.
Okay, I'll find it. Hold on. But go ahead and read your tweet, and then I'll find it to put on the screen.
Hold on.
I can find it in the group chat too, and I can read it. I'm gonna pull it up right now. Is it about Tolvanen and Fabbro?
Yes, that's the main one.
Oh, that was from a month ago to the day. All right, well, I'll find it on the screen, but do you want me to read it, or do you have it in front of you?
I'm still looking.
Okay. Well, I'm going to read it for the whole crowd, and then we'll put it on the screen. Go for it. So this is from March 3rd from Kyle here. So way back, a lot's changed in a month for this team, but Here we go. He says, I think my main anger towards the Fabbro extension. So yes, Dante Fabbro got a contract extension. A lot of people didn't like it, especially considering a lot of people, including myself, had Dante Fabbro as a shoo-in to get traded at the trade deadline, and it didn't happen. But all right, so here it is. I think my main anger towards the Fabbro extension is how many chances he gets to prove himself. Tolvanen was a better player with a higher ceiling and wasn't afforded those same opportunities. I already hear. Oh, there's that T word, Tolvanen.
Yep.
But
don't need to hear that.
All right. I need Kyle Perkins to explain himself on that tweet, and then myself and Rich will respond. And we're about to put it on the screen. I just got to find it. But Kyle, explain yourself on that tweet. Why are you bashing Dante Fabbro, dude?
Okay, he has some good games. I'm not going to say every game is bad. It's just the mistakes that he does make are so glaringly bad. There's a lot of times he gets blown by, and he just, instead of chasing, he just stands there and does the whole open mouth.
Yeah.
Watch him go by.
You've talked about this before in the past, the open mouth.
It's just like, oh, he went that away.
He went that away.
There you go.
And I can't stand it. It drives me insane. And that's my main rub against Dante Fabbro. I do agree that he probably has been given a lot more chances than Tolvanen was ever given.
You can't. I'm not going to even argue with you on that one. He totally has. But okay, can I give you a little pushback here?
Go for it.
We're talking defenseman and scoring winger, two apples and oranges as far as like organizational trying to build something. You are absolutely correct in your tweet as far as Tolvanen was a better player with a higher ceiling and wasn't afforded those same opportunities. No one can dispute that. That is, anyone who disputes that last statement there is just, they're not even worth arguing with, because that's an absolutely 100% correct statement. But the only way I will push back on your tweet is that I think it's a little unfair to compare the two players, because they're two completely different positions, types of players, certain different values to the team. I have been a Dante Fabbro apologist on this podcast for a very long time. I will totally give you that he makes some really, really just boneheaded mistakes in games that just, and I think they get magnified because I think people look for him now because they expect it from him. So like a player who maybe doesn't make those mistakes, a la Roman Josi, who has made a few of those this season. I know you're not allowed to ever take a shot at the glorious Roman Josi, but that he has made some really glaring defensive mistakes this year, just like Dante Fabbro does. Here's why I always go to bat for Dante Fabbro. that he was thrown into the fire so quick. He never got a Milwaukee Admirals.
That's what I was going to say.
Like easing in. Yeah. So, Rich, kind of talk about what you're saying there, because I think you kind of like.
Just Tolvanen got to simmer in Milwaukee for several years and get that playing experience. And as soon as they got rid of PK Subban, man, they just threw Dante Fabbro to the wolves basically. And I like him too, but I do recognize the glaring mistakes a lot more now. You're like you said, you're kind of looking for them. So, I don't know. Sometimes he plays well, and then he has bad games, and they have to reel him in a little bit, and then he does well. But I like the dude too, but
but Kyle's tweet is still absolutely spot on. The point that the main point of that tweet is the mismanagement of Eeli Tolvanen, which I think, and I'll see if you guys agree with me, it's going to be the biggest blemish other than maybe Kyle Turris' contract on David Poyle's career.
Yeah.
Well,
at least his Preds career. Yeah. At least his Preds career. I've never dove into his front office decisions before he became general manager of the Preds, but I'll just say as GM of the Preds, you got Kyle Turris, and you've got the mismanagement of Eeli Tolvanen, 1A and 1B. We can all argue till the sun comes up on which one's worse. I'll still say I don't know. I was gonna say maybe Kyle Turris, but you can't really say yet because you don't know what's gonna happen with Tolvanen in the long run. He looks comfortable in Seattle, but
he
can't
also
say yet.
Yeah, he also had a comfortable stretch for Nashville.
Yeah,
but you could even include Fabbro in the mismanagement, really, if you look at it.
Oh yeah,
I mean that's huge too. I mean that could be 1C maybe.
But I that was a good one that you shared, Kyle, because I think it really gets you talking, it gets you thinking. I think even though it's two completely different positions and types of players, it's still something that you got to think about because that's so important. That's a big part of it. You can draft all the talent you want, but how do you manage them? How do you handle them? How do you bring them along? That's so important in hockey with these prospects. You don't want to bury their confidence. You don't want to put them in bad situations where they can't succeed. That's what a lot of fans are upset about is, look at a player like Philip Tomasino. And when he first came into the league, they were putting him on lines with just not players that matched his skill set. Now you're finally, So now you're finally starting to see him with players that match his skill set. You really can't give an honest assessment of right now because we don't know what this team's going to look like next year. We can make our speculations, but with all the injuries, it's really hard to say who's going to be where, how this team's going to be constructed. We don't even know who the head coach is going to be necessarily. So you can't even really speculate on what this lineup's going to look like next year in terms of who's going to be where. But I mean, Eeli Tolvanen by far is such a huge blemish that it's going to take a long time to get over. Yeah. To lose a player like that on waivers is inexcusable. It's unforgivable. I'm sure David Poyle is very honest about the fact that he screwed up on that one. And that's all you can do. We all make mistakes. He made a big one at a really bad time.
It's a gamble. It's always a gamble.
All right, Rich, let's move on with Explain Yourself. Give us one.
I put it in our group chat if you want to.
Oh, I got it right here.
The second one, I guess. Do the second one. The first one's just more funny than anything.
You got two in here. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, the second one, I guess.
Okay.
So this is back from January the 12th.
Oh, okay. I got to find it. But go ahead and explain yourself. Tell us the tweet. Okay.
So here's the tweet. So it was a retweet, actually, like a quote tweet. The Nashville Predators on January the 12th. Welcome to the big leagues, ASCII. Yaroslav Askarov, starting goalie. The first appearance and only appearance of Yaroslav Askarov this season. And my quote tweet was, now maybe everyone will shut up about Tolvanen. I got so I get it. I totally get it. I'm going to explain myself. I understand. You got to move on and let it go. It's in the past. And I was just like,
you got to move on and let it go.
You got to move on. David Poyle made a mistake. Everybody likes Tolvanen. Right, he's playing great.
How far back is this?
January 12th.
Oh my God. That's going way back.
That is way back. It's just funny. I usually don't do like hot take stuff or anything, but
that's you still got to something like this. You got to explain yourself.
I mean,
this is like totally fair.
I just, what was it a fireable offense for David Poyle? Some would say yes. I don't think so. It's a gamble of how these players are going to turn out. You never know. It's just, gosh, man, it was just, that's all that was going around. That was all that everyone was talking about. People still talk about it to this day. Shut up about Tolvanen.
All right.
I love you all, but let it go.
All right. So you explained yourself very well, Rich. So here's my thing about it. I don't mind people giving their thoughts on like, okay, what if this, what if that, like talking about like how this affected the team moving forward, how the front office, that's all like good hockey talk. Yeah. I get driven. This is what drives me crazy. The people, and don't take any offense if someone's listening or watching. I'm not trying to come after you or anything, but what drives me crazy is the people who give us constant stat updates about Tolvanen's season stats since he's been with the Kraken. That's what I am sick. I get it. Like maybe the first week he joined the Kraken, I get like, oh, okay, his first 3 games, he's already scored this many goals. Okay, that's fair. That's still like recent and relevant. But I'm still seeing tweets from people who say, oh, Tolvanen scored another goal tonight. He's now scored this many goals in so many games since leaving. It's like, are you going to like be updating me this until like 2028? Is Eeli Tolvanen going to be playing for the Toronto Maple Leafs in 2028? And someone's going to tweet out, well, in the last 6 years since Tolvanen was lost by the David Poyle on waivers, he has scored 128 goals. He has made 59 assists. His Corsi is a 53.5. His offensive zone exits are I'm just done with it. I'm done with it. I get it. He plays for a different team. Let's move on.
I agree.
It is what it is.
I love the dude. I loved him when he was here. He struggled. It's over. It's over. He's gone. He's not coming. He's not coming back.
He was definitely mismanaged. He was definitely mismanaged
for sure. For sure.
And Rich, I'm glad in that tweet all the way back in January 12th that you got it off your chest.
Yep.
I actually remember coming across that tweet that day and thinking, "Oh my God, Rich doesn't normally put out stuff like this. Like he doesn't normally. You're a very quiet tweeter. Like you retweet stuff. You say some very respectful stuff, but you let it all out that day, and I respect that.
I just couldn't take it anymore.
12 days into 2023, and you said, I'm done with this.
I love how you changed your voice. Oh, well, Tolvanen scored 129 goals. That was awesome.
I mean, maybe he will. I mean, 2028, he plays for the Maple Leafs. I just gave you guys a lot of hot takes in a quick amount of time. Yeah. I would like to think he'll have more than 129 goals by that point.
I wish him nothing but the best.
Preds, but we'll see. I hope he doesn't play for the Maple Leafs. I just threw a random team out there that I would hate to see him play for.
Well, a lot of people go play for the Maple Leafs,
so there you have it. All right, let me get to my next one. This is a really fun segment that we're doing to close out 179 where we have to explain ourselves. All right, let me find my next one here, and we're going to bring back up Dante Fabbro, all right, everybody, because we just love him so much. And it's so perfect, and we didn't plan this. I promise you I didn't. I didn't know that Kyle was also going to have a Fabbro take. So here's mine.
I thought there was a good chance of it, though.
Well, I mean,
he loves him so much.
Kind of like what
I don't
said
have
earlier.
Ben Harper to pick on anymore, so who?
Oh, you definitely. True. All right, so here's mine, guys. I'm going to put it on the screen. I got it already ready.
Lays his body out, alter shot.
All right, when you guys are, how about Rich? How about you read my tweet?
Fabbro doing some. Oh, this is what day is this? April 1st. This is only a couple days ago.
Mine are more recent than you guys. You guys are like going way back, like a couple months.
Fabbro.
Right,
Fabbro doing some awesome work protecting Juice. Lays his body out after a shot. I think that's what you meant. One thing I'll say, playoff or not, is this Preds team has rallied lately to play some really commendable defense.
Let's take out the grammatical error. All right. Grammatical error aside, no edit button because I don't just subscribe to Twitter Blue. So Elon, you're not getting my money.
No, it's not worth it.
So here's what I meant by this. I'm going to explain myself. So Fabbro I didn't want to just I just threw Fabbro out there because right when I put out the tweet, I'm pretty sure Fabbro had done something really good, like I was saying there. But it was more about the overall structure of all of these guys. Jankowski is a guy who really sticks out to me. Mark Jankowski, that guy. Kiefer Sherwood, even Kevin Gravel. You know, when he first joined the team, we were calling him Gravel.
Yeah, we didn't. We're bad with names.
We are bad with names. We used to call Luke Cunnin Luke Coonan. So, yeah, there you go. But either way, it wasn't so much about Dante Fabbro, if I'm explaining myself. It's just he had just done something good, and it made me think of the overall picture of, okay, with everything they're against, they're not scoring a lot of goals. They're not getting a lot of shots on goal. But they've still stayed in a lot of games. If you take out a couple, cherry pick out a couple of those really bad ones where they got, I think they lost 7-2 to the Kraken. They've had some games where they just got exposed. They lost 7-0 to the Rangers. That one was a nightmare. But you look at some of these let's look at some of these most recent games. And when I put that tweet out, and then I want to get Kyle's reaction, and Rich, you can react to this tweet as well. But here's what I was thinking. I went back to March 14th, and let's look at some of these games. They beat Detroit 2-1. They did lose to Chicago 2-1, but they couldn't get any offense going in that game. They only gave up 2 goals. They only gave up 3 goals to Winnipeg in a loss. If we skip over the Rangers game, they beat Buffalo 7-3. They hold Seattle to 1 goal in a 2-1 win. They hold Toronto to 3 goals in a 2-3 loss. They hold Boston to a goal. They hold Pittsburgh to 2 goals, but they couldn't score. So a lot of these games you're seeing, they were in it. They weren't giving up a lot of goals. I know Saros is a big reason why as well, but I do think this team has rallied around their goaltender a lot on the penalty kill to be a little bit better and protect their goaltender a little bit better. So that was my thought behind that tweet. It wasn't just Dante Fabbro.
Yep.
Kyle, are you okay with my tweet? Is there anything you want to pick apart on that? Anything you want to elaborate on that tweet?
No, it's okay to be wrong.
Oh.
I saw you taking a drink, and I had to do it. I'm just messing with you. No,
it's okay, man. I mean, I could be wrong, but it's just my eye test. That's what I've been seeing.
Like I said, Fabbro does have some good games. Just the bads are really bad. But he has been playing really good as of late. And like you said, with all the rotating door of defensemen they've had, they're really doing quite well, to be completely honest. Boston should have hung about 8 on them.
Yeah, when you're having to, and this is no disrespect meant towards like a Kevin Gravel or even no disrespect meant towards Jeremy Lauzon, but you're having to lean on Jeremy Lauzon as a second pairing defenseman. I don't think that's what they envisioned having Jeremy Lauzon be. Jeremy Lauzon, there's a role to play for Jeremy Lauzon, and it's a third pairing, hard-hitting enforcer defenseman. I don't think anyone ever envisioned Jeremy Lauzon having to be a long-term option for your second pairing defenseman. That's nothing to take away from Jeremy Lauzon, but it's not in the playbook. But when you don't have Alex Carrier, That's another big loss. Ryan McDonough was out for a little bit. And, of course, now Roman Yossi's out. You traded away Matthias Ekholm. I mean, here's where you're at. This is where you're at. So then Dante Fabbro's he's not getting buried in the depth chart. I'll say that about Dante Fabbro. He's getting his chances now. Yep. And I don't think he's been that bad. Here's my thing. I think that Dante Fabbro is most likely is what he is. He's probably reached his ceiling. I don't see Dante Fabbro as having a very high ceiling. And that goes back to Kyle's tweet about comparing to Tolvanen. Tolvanen does have a really high ceiling still. Yeah. I don't think Dante Fabbro has a huge ceiling. I don't think he has a low floor either. I think Dante Fabbro is what he is, which is a very serviceable second, third pairing, kind of a tweener defenseman, depending on what team he's on and what he's being asked to do. He's never going to be a top pairing offensive driver defenseman. He's just not that player, most likely. But he is still very young, but he still has a place in this league. And so that's just where we're at with Dante Fabbro, most likely.
Yeah. When you look at the games that you were just talking about where they did hold some really, really good teams to a couple of goals here and there, and even the Boston game, like when you go back and look at it, they won 2-1, held Boston to 1 goal, and that was with the big three were playing for Boston, Bergeron, Marchand, and Pastrnak, and Linus Ullmark was in goal. So that is, the defense has been playing a lot better. You look at these other games where like the Rangers beat them, and that happens too. That happens to the best of teams. They lose big games like that where they lose 5-6 goals, or whatever. But they do have their shining moments with a very young team, and it's only going to make them better. This experience is only going to make them better. So we got a lot to look forward to.
Absolutely. All right, we got to get to Kyle's next one here. And do you have it in front of you, Kyle?
I do not.
This one goes back to February 8th, and it's regarding our long lost and beloved Philip Forsberg. It feels like so long ago.
Oh man.
Like February 11th. So February 11th was when we lost Philip Forsberg. For perspective here, we lost Philip Forsberg February 11th against the Philadelphia Flyers. You sent this tweet out on February 8th. I'm going to read it, and then I'll go find – and then I'm going to read it, and then I'll go find it to share it for our viewers on YouTube and Facebook. We're premiering on – we've never done Facebook Live, so if you're watching on Facebook Live, hit the like button, give us a follow. We're going to start ramping up our coverage on Facebook and sharing more stuff. We've been slacking on the Facebook end. That's on me. So we're going to start putting more stuff on Facebook. And if you're watching on Facebook Live for the first time, welcome. We appreciate you.
Yes.
Please comment. If you got it YouTube, go to YouTube as well. And we share segments on there, and you can subscribe. We'd appreciate it. But I'm about to share it on the screen for all of our viewers. Of course, if you're listening on the audio version on Spotify or Apple or any of your podcast platforms, we greatly appreciate you as well. So I'm going to read the tweet from Kyle on Explain Yourself, and then we will share it for the viewers to see. Here's what Kyle said on February 8th. I'd like to take this time to say Philip Forsberg has scored exactly 1 goal since they split him and Parsonen up. But hey, let's put the kid with the future all-star, Cole Smith.
Jab, jab, jab.
That's a mic drop. That's bringing the heat.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Hey, Kyle, I think that the next question, it's coming, is explain yourself.
Well, after that tweet, I'm pretty sure Cole Smith has more points than either Parsonen or Forsberg.
Well, that's not really fair, but
but at that point in time, Parsonen was playing with Forsberg, and was it Granlund? Were they on the line together?
That sounds right to me.
But that's who it was. They were looking really good as a line, and then all of a sudden, Parsonen gets moved to the 4th line for no real reason. And And after that, Forsberg just couldn't score for some reason. He just shut down. And it had been a good month or so since he had scored a goal. So that's my explanation of that tweet.
I do remember a lot of pushback on how the lines were being put and where Cole Smith was being put, of course, and where how Parsonen, you've been a big believer of Forsberg and Parsonen together for a while. I mean, you were way ahead on that, man. Like, I mean, we got the receipts to prove it. I mean, all you got to do is go listen to some of the episodes and some of the clips when Kyle was preaching to the choir on paying attention to this guy, Juuso Parsonen. And I mean, I really actually want to go back and listen to some of those early episodes before the season started, because Kyle, you were all on it. You were. So Forsberg and Parsonen together were fun to watch, man. And it really gives us a window, hopefully, into what's to come next season. But here it is for all our viewers to see. That's from February 8th. So that was 3 days before Forsberg went out, man. Wow.
Yep.
But hey, let's put the kid with future All-Star Cole Smith.
I was a wee bit salty.
Cole Smith is an 82-game player. He's going to go down in
that poor guy.
The Preds Hall of Fame. We're going to give him a banner. He is going to get a statue right next to Pekka. It's going to be a little shorter. It's only going to be like a quarter of the size.
That poor guy.
If you picture Pekka Rinne's statue, it's towering. It's beautiful. It's pristine. Yeah. And then you're going to see Cole Smith's statue, and it's going to be like miniature. And it's going to be like basically if you're like a 5-year-old like kid, you're going to be able to like tower over it.
It's like a garden gnome size.
That's going to be the Cole Smith statue. We're going to put it out there, and in the plaque, it's going to say Cole Smith, the greatest 82-game player to ever wear a Predators uniform.
That poor guy, man. He gets such a bad rap.
I actually do really respect Cole Smith for how he plays. He leaves it all out there. I do respect that.
Fights people too.
Right. Cool. He lost it in that last game.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Last one to close out 179 of Catfish on Ice. Rich has got to explain himself.
No, I don't think this needs any explanation.
All right. Oh, this one's good. I gotta put this one on.
You gotta put it up there. It's a visual.
This is from way back on January 26th. But before I can find it and before I read it for the viewers, can you explain again to everyone, for maybe we might have some new viewers who don't know or understand, why you just can't stand the Tampa Bay Lightning, which is now my hometown team. I'm always going to be a Predators fan, number one. No one questioned me about it. I'm tired of people asking me questions about it. I am not a Tampa Bay Lightning fan, but they are the team that resides basically in my hometown now. So I got to get along with them. Why? Explain to some of our new viewers, why do you not like the Tampa Bay Lightning so much?
Because they are a bunch of goons. Pat Maroon is a goon. Corey Perry is a goon.
Corey Perry's not even on the team anymore.
Whatever. He was. That's when my hatred started. I just don't. I don't like their style of play. I don't like their coach.
You don't like John Cooper.
I get props to him.
We're getting to the bottom of it.
He took that team. You know, they won the Stanley Cup twice. They've always been to me like they will dish out a lot of punishment, play rough, but then when you play rough with them, they don't like it, which I get that, but I just never have liked them. I do like Victor Hedman, though, and now Tanner Jeannot's on there. So
now you don't like Steven Stamkos. I think Stamkos is one of the most classy and great. He's not the greatest player of our generation. Obviously, there's a lot of people ahead of him. But
Yeah,
Stamkos is an easy player to cheer for.
Yeah. I just can't do
All
it.
right.
Okay.
I'm not going to convince you.
I don't even.
All right, here it is. Hey, I have a bunch of extra material. I think I'll make a jersey. When I saw you tweet that, I remember that day when I came across that.
Yeah.
You made me laugh out loud in the literal sense, not like the LOL. No, like in literal public, I did laugh because it was hilarious. Because that jersey has a lot going on.
It does. So I looked it up today. So when I was finding it, and there's 12 of the little sick face emojis on there. I counted them a little bit ago. Their retro, I don't know if this is their retro reverse jersey, but I think their retro reverse jersey they modeled it after this one. I don't remember if that's the case or not, but regardless, they're both ugly. And it literally looks like I'm going to just throw together some material and here's your retro jersey or whatever.
I can't argue with you. I really can't. I can't even argue with you. It really is all over the place.
Yeah.
It looks very poorly put together. That is the old school Tampa Bay Lightning logo from when they first became an expansion team.
Yes.
And so I kind of respect the logo. Here's what I can't stand about this uniform, this jersey in particular. I can't stand the lower arm sleeves. That like little flame. Is it a flame? Is it a bolt? It's a bolt lightning bolt. But it's like poorly done. It's awful. That's what makes that jersey so bad. It's the lower sleeves.
Yeah. So this one is the original one, but their reverse retro looks almost identical to that. And you can tell
it looks like the tribal tattoos from like 2000 ish.
Sure does.
All right. Right. Does it look like a really bad tramp stamp?
Yeah.
It could. Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
I mean, it is Tampa Bay.
Hey, you're gonna get. There's some people who know me who might watch it. Actually, we don't claim Tampa Bay. I live in St. Pete. St. Pete people can't stand people from Tampa Bay, but people around here still cheer for the Tampa Bay Lightning because we don't have a team in St. Pete. But
no funny.
Anyway, yeah, we actually can't stand people from Tampa, or at least St. Pete natives can't, because it's two completely different cities. You got St. Pete on the peninsula, off the mainland a little bit. It's very like chill. It's very East Nashville vibes. Like if you ever been in East Nashville, like just very like everyone loves everybody and is having fun. Tampa's much more metropolitan and like bougie, and I gotta have my gin martini with exactly 2 olives, and the glass has to be chilled a certain way, and I'm wearing a $5,000 whatever. Like that's Tampa for the very more metropolitan. In St. Pete, you can be wearing an old t-shirt that you've owned for 10 years, some flip-flops, and a pair of shorts you bought from Kohl's, i.e. that guy is me, and you'll fit right in.
That sounds much better. If I'm being honest.
Anyway. All right, but I that's a great tweet though, and it did make me laugh. You didn't have to explain yourself too much on that one.
The picture says it all. So there you go.
All right, so that's our Explain Ourselves segment. We are going to bring that back next year. It was a lot of fun.
That is fun.
Love having to explain ourselves because we all get on there every now and then, the heat of the moment, and we throw a tweet out there, and then it's very fun to have to explain yourself later. So that's what we're going to do. It was a lot of fun. This has been episode 179 of Catfish on Ice. We're going to get a new episode to you next week, which will be right around at the end of the season. We're going to know a lot more pretty much of what's going to happen with the Predators. We'll start looking more into the offseason. We're going to really dive in to the overall playoff picture of the NHL. We're going to break it down. The matchups will be coming more into clearer. We're going to break down the awards race. We're going to get into UC Saros as he's, trying to give Linus Ullmark to run for his money. I don't think he's going to move ahead of him, but he's probably going to get a nomination. He's going to get a nomination.
He should.
He's going to get a nomination.
He should. Yeah.
But we're going to get more into that. We'll look into the awards races. We'll get into some more stuff. So that'll be next week. It's been great being back, guys. It's been good seeing you, Kyle and Rich. You guys are awesome. It's been a good episode. It's been fun.
Missed you guys.
We're almost at 2 hours tonight. Again, the Predators did lose to the Dallas Stars 5-1. So tough loss there. It's looking almost impossible for the Preds, as close as impossible as you can get for the Predators to probably make the playoffs for the 9th straight year. But as we've said throughout this episode, what they have accomplished to make it this far into the regular season without being eliminated, it's very commendable, and it's pretty amazing in and of itself. So we hope everyone has a great week. We appreciate you watching tonight on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and also downloading the podcast. And we will see you next week. Everyone have a great night.
Have a good one.
Later, everybody.